I can't even imagine getting news like that from, A, a DM, B, Keemstar in a DM.
Yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah.
and you're there thinking, you're going to think sinister thoughts like, has Keemstar just told me that I'm dying here? I don't know what this is, kind of like a random text, and how nonchalant he is as well about it too. Not even like, dude, here's your report, have this is something to look at. Just like, you can't fight, you got this. So you're there going, wait a second. So Wembley Arena, A, is gone. B, could be seriously ill. I've lost the money. Like that. It just goes to show how inhuman that kind of is in a way. Like there's no empathy there.
Yeah, there was no empathy there. But yeah, it was horrible. It was dreadful. And Misfits were very unhappy with how he messaged me because I tweeted out. I tweeted the message out saying, this is what Keemstar said. This is what's happened. And they were very disappointed. Or maybe it wasn't Misfits. Maybe it was the PBA, the Professional Boxing Association. But it was dreadful. It was absolutely dreadful. And it was horrible for my mental health. I actually felt like a boxer for me after that. I just felt like a weird boxer for me, like in my head. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm sad about it now. I don't care, but at the time it was a very strange feeling. And then I had to obviously I took a $2,000 loss on the medical bills, and I took a loss on all the training, and I was like, well, that's all the content gone. That's everything I've spent the last it's only 2 weeks that I've spent, but it was the longest 2 weeks of my life. And I just did everything to basically go like, this is my chance to blow up. And it was just gone like that, just gone. It was crazy.
That is crazy. But I guess, I mean, as a person who tries to be optimistic, kind of like every cloud, at least you knew something about yourself that you wouldn't have known had you not gone through this process. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess that's the one thing to take away from it. But yeah, I guess it's like being a gamer, in it? In some ways, you have a life where you play games. Someone suddenly says to you, you can't play games anymore. That's not a thing you can do. You'd be like, what do I do? Like, if you're a boxer in the same, I can totally see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, but it's my career ended at 0-0 boxer. So,
but in that situation, your brother stepped in and fought instead, did he?
yeah, so I basically called him up, and he was on his way home from Brick Lane, and I was like, Cal, this is what's happened. I started crying down the phone. It's on the documentary we made, but I started crying on the phone. I was like, Cal, will you take the fight for me? And he was like, of course I'll take the fight for you, Arch. And literally, mate, and it makes me emotional now. He's like, of course I'll take the fight for you, Arch. And then literally come home, put his gloves on that he hadn't had on in 10 years, like literally started hitting the pads. And Keemstar was like, fuck it, get his brother to fight. That's on the Wednesday night. This is late Wednesday night. Thursday morning, he's up straight to the medical, so London hospital, brain scan, this scan, that scan, doctor medical, this, that, and then straight from there, straight into the press conference. So he storms into the press conference shouting at Louis, and it's a big thing, and it was great. Keemstar loved it. And then on the Friday, he was straight back up to London to weigh in. So we had to go straight back to London for the weigh in. And then Friday night, he didn't get any sparring practice, none. And he just went in and did it. And it was like when he stood on canvas in Wembley Arena, that's the first time he stood on a boxing canvas in 10 years, literally. So that's what he went and did, and he didn't do too bad. He lost 2 rounds to 1. Like, it's 3 rounds, he won one of the rounds, he lost the other 2. Do you know what I mean? He actually did all right.
You must have been, oh man, you must have been in this crazy position where you're like, I'm obviously devastated that I can't be up there doing what plan to do this. This is the moment that I kind of envisage would happen. But at the same time, you're there thinking, my brother did this for me. He stepped in that ring for me, like in front of a bullet almost, and just said, I'm doing it for you, Arch. Without that training, which would make most people really nervous, obviously, inevitably, understandably. And he did that for him. And that must have been, you must have been emotionally, that must have been such a difficult place for you to be.
I felt so guilty afterwards because his nose was a bit bloody and banged up, and he was obviously, and I felt really guilty, but he was just like, fuck it. We actually cried at the part. It was really, really, really emotional. Like, and even as a bloke, I'm not like, I would never cry, but I fucking cried. Like, it was like, my brother has just gone into Wembley Arena, fought this American, and mate, and do you know what? His wife was chatting a lot of shit on the timeline afterwards. Like, you boys grew up boxing and you didn't beat my husband. And I'm just like, I didn't even, I was just like, shut up. Like, just shut up. Like, you're like, like look at what this man has done, my brother. Like it was just incredible.
Wow. What's his memories of it as well? Like, does he look back at it fondly? Is he kind of like, oh, it was a great experience? Is he kind of like, has it brought you guys closer together? Like, how does he kind of see it?
Yeah, it definitely brought us closer together. But we were very close anyway. He has said it changed his life because now when he has to do something difficult, he's like, sure, Wembley on 2 days' notice. So if I can do that, he's literally like, if I can do that, I can do this. So for example, now he had to go to Florida last year for 3 months to do acting and be away from home. And he said, well, he was like, if I could go and fight at Wembley on 2 days' notice, I can go to Florida for 3.5 months, leave my girlfriend at home and go work. And like, stuff like that. And same
Yeah.
again, he's in Chicago now acting for 4 months. So he'll be back middle of July. So he's just, so it has changed his life. And do you know what? It's actually changed my life because I kept the running up after that. I started jujitsu. We can talk about this later or whatever, but like it has literally changed my life. I would probably still be 10 kilos heavier now and lifting weights, whereas the feeling of being a bit fitter is unbelievable.
That's all. No, mate, that's amazing. As I said, like, the pint's half, the glass is half full. There's kind of other things to, I guess, look at and take. I guess that's one of the things I think in this kind of business anyway. That because we've had other episodes where we talk about gaming and kind of like it's this constant having to adapt or roll with the punches, for use of a better kind of analogy there. But I think that's the one thing you have to do is kind of you have to find ways to kind of move forward when the chips are down. How do you move? How do you bounce back? What do you do differently? And the fact that you had all that chucked to you, and bear in mind, this is a 2-week period, like a fortnight. This is a fortnight. I mean, look at that. If there's ever a pun, it was fortnight.
yeah.
A fortnight, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Like the craziest
Mental.
fortnight ever.
Literally.
But I can imagine that's kind of really changed your life and things. And since then as well, obviously you've got this new kind of, I guess, new wave of like, wanting to keep the fitness up, and you're kind of competing again. Your FNCS didn't go so well necessarily this season, but you're back to competing in kind of cash cups and all sorts, I guess, as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just that's what I'm saying when earlier I said things are so spontaneous. Like it is literally a crazy life. Like to think all that happened and then it didn't happen, and then and then about a month later I moved out into this flat I'm in, and then I started running again. I got into good shape. I changed my life. I've kept working, traveled. I then did actually qualify for FNCS Grand Finals in August last year, which is like the biggest tournament ever. Just like, and then back to like going abroad or doing this crazy life, literally.
It's incredible.